In patch 12.10, Riot plans to launch a huge durability update to all champions, which has some pretty major implications for the entirety of the meta in all phases of the game. How laning interacts, which champions are good, which classes are prominent, draft priorities. There's a ton that's going on here under the hood with these changes, and in this video we're going to explore some predictions that I have with how this can impact the meta. Let's start things off with the changes themselves. The biggest one is that all champions in the game are going to receive the following stat boost: a 70 increase to base health, 14 health growth per level, armor growth of 1.2, and MR growth per level of 0.8. So how this affects you at level 18 is pretty much a 300 health bonus, 20 armor, and 14 MR. In addition to this, they are cutting out a ton of the damage and sustain options in the game. All heals and shields are cut by 10%, grievous wounds are becoming less powerful, the overall sustain in the game is also getting reduced, and the mana regen from items and both types of damage penetration as well. There's a few changes to towers and Baron as well, which should result in more stable gameplay in the early game, but this is basically it. The first word that comes to mind when hearing this is numb. Riot is effectively numbing the effects of most things in the game and diluting the damage that everything does. Giving every champ raw durability stats like how they've done will certainly do the trick for this, but my main concern is almost that it makes the game a little bit boring. Now, it's not going to be enough to prevent some early game plays in lane, as 70 HP is really just one auto attack, but it does promote a playstyle where champions can focus on not being so aggressive because every champion's durability actually scales a lot better now, technically. As every champion is gaining the same stats as well across the board, these effects will naturally affect those with normally low resistances in HP like AD carries and control mages. Higher resistance classes like bruisers and tanks will still enjoy these buffs of course, but simply to a lesser degree. This is a byproduct of how armor and MR factors in diminishing returns to its formulas, so this is not necessarily anything special. The reason these changes can change so much in the game is because of the scaling factor to these stats. While the obvious thing is that scaling gets better due to the increased defenses at level 18, another byproduct of this is how this can potentially make the game more snowbally in a way. It's quite possible that early game champions can attempt to blow open the game, generate an incredible levels advantage, and then leverage the increased durability from these new levels in order to build more damage and then just put a whole chokehold on the game. While I don't think this might be the case for every game, this is another new game path where we have to consider. Riot also has potentially factored this in, as the reduction in penetration in the game may also help with this. In terms of champion priorities in draft or win rates in general, we might see champions attempt to take advantage of these changes to scale for free. It's possible that early game punishment might get diluted too easily once champions get their items and resistances. The increase in tower strength also complements this because it makes early game dives more difficult, which stabilizes the early game. We might even see a world where it's more common to give up things like Dragon Soul because you can exchange that for greedy picks with insane amounts of scaling. The last major thing I see with these changes is the dynamic of team fights. I can now see a world with more variety in team fights with a high preference for front to back type comps. Stat checking the opponent with more scaling and a really tight team comp might be favored again, and it's very possible that team fights become more drawn out and even have multiple stages. Team comps might not die or break down off of one major set of abilities anymore, which creates opportunities to rethink and adapt accordingly. With less sustain in the game, I can also see the prominence of poke comps rising even further, because hitting these long range abilities before a team fight starts to leave a longer lasting impact. I think it will improve the intensity while playing the game in fights, while not having squishy targets fear for their life all of the time. So at a high level, these are the potential outcomes that I believe will occur with these changes. My biggest concern is the removal of some of the dopamine that happens when you take away damage in a change like this, but in terms of game balance, I can potentially see this shifting the meta in the right direction. As always though, I hope this video was helpful to you guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Stay fresh.